Things that are given freely are very rarely appreciated. This is Radical Self-Respect with Jared Mello. We're going to jump right into the content today. And it's one of my requirements of radical self-respect, that our love, our trust, our respect, our attention, all of those things should be earned. Because if they're not, they will not be appreciated as much. And in the relationship game, the younger someone is, like teenage years, younger 20s, the more true this is. And sometimes people grow out of it a little bit, but I must say, it never goes away completely. There's always an element of this. But why is this? Why is this part of human nature? Why don't we appreciate the things that have just been given to us, or have been given to us too freely? Well, it speaks to what the person who is giving the thing away thinks about themselves. How do they value themselves? Someone who was a really amazing person that had a lot of great things to offer, are they going to be the kind of person that really wants to give all of their time and attention away for nothing? Or if you knew what you had to offer was valuable, how would you act? More than likely, you would have more of a screening process. You would be a little more skeptical. You'd be a little more patient. And you just wouldn't let anyone come in and waste your time with them. Because there's levels to this, right? The first level is, who are we going to spend our time on? And time is very similar to attention. And then after that, when do we really love someone? When do we really appreciate someone? When is our respect earned? Or is it just given? I used to just give things freely like this, and it never really worked out too well for me. And it wasn't until I learned the hard way, of course, that I now see it's like people just don't appreciate those kinds of things. I used to also struggle with kind of being an open book, sharing and oversharing at that. And what was the reasoning behind this? Oftentimes this oversharing was really just a underlying need for approval. And if I really accepted myself, I probably wouldn't have been oversharing in that manner because I just would have been okay. But I realize now, the more I shared, the more I was kind of seeking approval about what I was talking about or how I was living. And I wanted that confirmation. Yes, Jared, it's okay. You're doing this okay. But that's not an attractive thing. It's not an attractive quality. And in terms of our respect, when we just assume someone's respectable and a valuable person, we're way more likely to be burned. And so I don't say to treat people poorly, no, but I'd say certainly learn to be a little more neutral in our interactions with others, especially before we know them. And if we look back at our troubles, especially in romantic relationships, we will see often that one of the biggest reasons we got into quicksand with people was because we jumped into things too quickly. We ignored red flags, or we just followed our feelings because we felt good at the time, and we dove right in. More than likely because we weren't okay on our own. We weren't okay just kind of being single and living our own lives. And so when that happens, we don't adhere to this principle at all. We just dive right in, give all of our time, all of our attention, all of our love and respect. And it communicates how we feel about ourselves. Our actions communicate how we feel about ourselves. And if we truly practice radical self-respect, we're not going to give all of these things so freely because we'll know there's plenty of people out there that don't really deserve it. There's plenty of people out there that will use it against us. And so what does it say about us when we continue to give away our attention, love, and respect freely when we know there's a lot of people that don't deserve it and are going to treat us poorly or even abuse us? It would be just stupid to do that. So there's lots of people out there who are disordered, and what happens? They can wear a mask for months at a time, really, and then eventually the mask comes off. But if we weren't careful, we've gotten ourselves entangled with a person that maybe has a cluster B personality disorder, like narcissistic personality disorder or borderline personality disorder. And more than likely by this point, we've given them the ammunition to hurt us. And again, it's our faults when we dive right in like this. It is careless to dive right in. I think Warren Buffett says when it comes to stocks, when testing the waters, don't jump in with 2 feet. Like you test with 1 foot first. We should treat our relationships with people the same exact way. We don't know someone. I think it's kind of an art to be able to get to know someone, be cautious, be skeptical, yet still having fun without pouring everything out. It's a skill, especially for people who have struggled with codependency or are borderline themselves, that when they meet someone they kind of connect with, the floodgates open and the whole life story comes out, and everything that happened between childhood traumas and the worst things that happened to their lives, they just spill it out and they bleed basically all over the other people. And oftentimes that happens when people haven't tried to heal and haven't healed from the things that have hurt them. And it's like they say, when we don't heal from the people that have hurt us, we bleed on people that didn't cut us. That is actually absolutely right. And so it's our responsibility to try. I'm going to make another video soon about how possible is it to heal and what kind of levels of healing are there, because I think there's many different levels, and I think some people are way more capable of healing than others. But that's a story for another video. But back to this one, we have to learn to temper ourselves, talk to people, to let them get to know us slowly. The other benefit of this is when we don't spill our guts instantly, we become a little more mysterious, which is also an attractive quality, right? We don't need to spill our guts out. We don't need to look for that approval if we approve of ourselves. And overall, our lives will go much better. And this doesn't even speak to the part that people don't value those things. Like if we spill our guts out on a first date, people aren't going to respect it and value it because they didn't have to earn the knowledge. They didn't have to work for it. People want to work for things regardless of what they say. Because some people think they don't want to earn things and work for them, but their behaviors say that they really do. Now, what I mean by that is a lot of them just won't respect things they didn't have to earn. And I think we should treat ourselves in the same manner. If we practice radical self-respect and we know we have value, we should make people earn getting to know us. Make people earn like learning more and more about us, and not have it be so freely given, because it won't do well for either one of us, and it'll probably just make others disrespect us, whether they realize it or not. Like they're just not going to appreciate the value in the information we've given them if there's no buildup. And there's so many other avenues of life where this is true. This is the mindset behind, the mentality behind people that have exclusive groups that you have to work towards to get in. It's similar to sorority and frat house, the initiations. Like you have to work for something, and then when you worked for it, you worked really hard, then you get the payoff. The same with like boot camp in the military or Hell Week for the Navy SEALs. When you really have to work for something, that reward that you get when you finally get there is amazing, and the payoff is huge. But if everyone could become a Navy SEAL, who would appreciate it? Who would respect it? It just wouldn't be the same. And so we have to carry this principle over into our own lives. And we got to ask ourselves, where are we sharing too much now? Where are we giving too much free attention? Where are we giving too much free love, etc.? Like, where are we diving right in when maybe we should be a little more cautious? Like, if we truly valued ourselves and practiced radical self-respect, what would we be doing differently? Where would we be doing things differently? And I think if you were to ask yourself this question, a couple things would probably pop up right away. Like maybe when you meet strangers, you overshare too much. Or maybe when you're beginning to date someone, you donate too much of your time and you allocate too much of your resources. Or whatever the case may be for each individual, it's something that we all have to work on. Now, me, in my dating relationships recently, one of the things I've struggled with is if I really start to like someone, I let them take up some of my mental space in my brain, and I'll start thinking about them. And this is not good because the more we think about someone, the more off of our course we might get. And I don't want anyone to rent space in my brain. Like when someone's not in front of me, I really don't want to be thinking about them that much because there's things I should be doing in my own life that are more important. And so if I find myself letting some woman rent space in my brain, like I really got to work on guarding my thoughts more, whether I like the person or not. It's like I got to be careful that I'm giving too much of my mental thoughts toward this person, and it's not good. And so I find when I also start to think about someone too much and I become obsessed, I find that I catch feelings sooner when I do that. And my feelings may become out of place and out of touch or out of proportion with the actuality of the relationship because I've been thinking about her all day, every day, and even though we haven't talked for longer than a few weeks, my mental space that I've given her in my head is like, makes me feel like I've been dating her for 6 months. So remember, we gotta guard our thoughts in this way too. It's one of the most insidious ways I've noticed because I'm pretty good at like living my own life now, not chasing every woman I see and texting them all day. It's like, no, I like my space and I like my independence, so I'm pretty good with that, but I still got to work on guarding my thoughts a little bit more. And so if you had to ask yourself, where are you giving too much too soon? Where are you not making people earn your time, earn your respect, or earn your love, or earn getting to know you? What avenues is this happening to you in? And just remember the principles of human nature and think about how would someone you really respected act in this regard? Or how would someone that knew they were just an amazing person, an amazing individual, how would they act in this scenario? How fast would they open up to others? How freely would they give their time and attention? And think about it. And then compare and contrast how that person would do it, the person who really valued themselves, and how we're doing it right now. And whatever the discrepancy is, those are the things we got to work on. And so this is requirement number 16 of radical self-respect. The make people earn our time, our love, our respect, our attention, because we are a prize. Like when we treat ourselves like we're the prize, other people will follow suit. We teach other people how to treat us. And the other part of this is when someone's codependent, they really look to others and they really hope other people like them. But when we truly value ourselves, we don't do that. We ask ourselves, do we even like that person? Do we even like these people? Because oftentimes we'll find we don't. And that's what they used to say about Napoleon Bonaparte, where he really wanted the love and approval of the masses, but he also hated the masses. So you see the contradiction there, where you can see the bad predicament someone can get in. And so remember, it's like we gotta be in control of ourselves, control our thoughts, control what we put our time into, our attention into, and realize not everyone's meant to be in our lives, and we might not even like people. We might not even like what they're about, but if we're seeking approval, if we don't like ourselves and we want someone to accept us and love us because we can't love ourselves, we're setting ourselves up for failure. But when we really think okay, who do I really get along with? What kinds of people do I really like? And then have that boundary. And my rule of thumb for me is if things just aren't easy, are things I'm dreading talking to people or trying to dodge people, those are scenarios where a boundary is needed. Those are situations where I probably shouldn't be talking too much to those kinds of people anyway. And why would I think I even have to? Codependency would probably be the reason I did, but Those are people that little to no contact, least amount of contact necessary. That's my philosophy with those kinds of people. And so we got to really be watchful and mindful of how we're coming off in this regard. And it's like, have people we look forward to seeing. And this doesn't mean these people kiss our ass. It does not mean that. Like, those people can still care about us and call us out on stuff too. But there's a certain energy that's different when someone's trying to pull us down, or someone's being a hater, or someone's trying to be jealous. And these are all things we got to be mindful of. And the people who are on our team, we're going to feel it. And we want to stick to the people that are on our team. We want to stick our time and attention and respect and love to the people that are on our team. They want to see us win. We always got to be careful for the people that are going to try to pull us down. One of the ways you'll notice who's trying to pull us down is notice who doesn't applaud when we win. Because there'll certainly be people that don't applaud when we win. And those are the people you got to watch out for. We want people in our lives that are going to applaud when we win. They're going to be on our teams. And again, it doesn't mean they're not going to call us out, but these are the kinds of people we do want to spend our time on and attention on, because they're good for us. And we feel it when they do. We feel the difference when we're going towards people that are good for us. It's just such a more comfortable thing, as opposed to spending time with people that are trying to bring us down, or time with people that we don't even like. And again, it seems so simple. It seems so self-evident, but I mention it because I didn't live this way for a long time. I felt I had to do things I didn't want to do, probably because of my upbringing. I was taught that I shouldn't have boundaries is what I was taught. I was taught that I shouldn't be autonomous with my own thoughts. I should go the way that my parents told me to go. I should think the way they think, value what they value. And so if we're not careful, we can carry over those things into adulthood. And it's a process. It's a process trying to unlearn that stuff. And so something as simple as we don't have to spend time and attention on people we don't like is a profound concept to someone that wasn't allowed to have boundaries growing up, or to stick with the people that are on our teams and applaud when we win and are good for us. Stick to those kinds of people. Like, that also should seem self-evident, but it's not for a lot of people. So all of this stuff, practicing radical self-respect, is exactly what it sounds like. It's a practice. It's something that we strive for. And what radical self-respect means to each one of us may be a little bit different. We may value some different things, but whatever we value, whatever morals and values and principles we hold sacred, when we practice radical self-respect, we're always striving towards them, and we're trying to meet that standard. And it's the guiding principle I live my whole life with, is I try to adhere by the principle of radical self-respect in all of my affairs. Now, I fall short all of the time, but I try my best to live by that standard. And so there's all different ways to go about it. I have the 17 requirements that are requirements for me, that people can take what they like and leave the rest. And it's a constant improving process to get better and learn how to practice radical self-respect in all of our affairs. I try to work with people, clients, to help them in their own lives and work on specific things that they think, yeah, I'm really struggling to practice radical self-respect in this area. And I work with them to help them get better, and to help them see their blind spots, because by definition, we can't see our own blind spots. So this was the 16th requirement of radical self-respect today, the make people earn our time and attention and love, etc. And there's really only one more. There's 17 requirements. I've already made a video about it because it's about the power of walking away. So I want to be able to help people, though, and help them learn how to practice radical self-respect in their lives. So if that's something that interests you, please do reach out to me via email. My email is in every video's description, and I'd love to work with you. Now, because what someone needs to work on, what everyone needs to work on, is going to be a little bit different. Right? Some people want to work on relationships. Some people got to work on their careers. Some people want to work on their mindset and their attitudes. I'm willing to help everyone in this regard. And I don't want to make it something that breaks the bank for people, because I don't think that's right either. I'm trying to make things very affordable, and hopefully I can help the most amount of people possible. So let me know what you thought about this video today. Did you like it, not like it, agree, disagree? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Or maybe comment some of your experience with this concept of spilling your guts out too soon, giving too freely of your time and attention. What happened? I think it's very powerful to see other people's examples of how it went down in their own life. What do they call it? Robert Greene would call it when you don't adhere to a principle. The transgression is what he calls it. So the transgression of the principle of not making people earn your time, love, and respect. It's valuable. It's valuable to see both ends of the coin. And then the other side, the adherence to the principle of making people earn our love and respect and time and attention, etc. So that's all I have for today. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.